Hello, everyone. We'll be with you shortly. We're just waiting for a few more guests to arrive. Hello, everyone. We'll be with you shortly. We're just waiting for a few more guests to arrive. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming out on such a beautiful afternoon and joining us for tea at 3 on Wednesdays. We're excited to have restarted our sessions, and today we're going to have a very exciting tour to talk about. But first of all, I need to do some housekeeping items. These sessions will be recorded and they'll be put on our website next to the tour itself, and can be listened to at your leisure later. So please communicate that to anyone that you think might enjoy our Tea at 3 webinars. The other thing is, if you have any question, please type it in the question and answer box, and we will answer your questions at the end of our session. And like I said, today we're talking about a great destination. We're going to be covering Germany, Austria, and Italy with one of our longtime tour directors. Marion's been with us for over 10 years. She's a Canadian citizen now, but she is from Germany. She's been Canadian now for over 20 years. And having worked for us all these years, we keep chatting about, Marion, why don't you take some people back home and show them your beautiful part of the world over in Germany? So we finally put that together, and in 2023, we're going to be doing this wonderful trip. And so a local from here is now going to take a group of folks back to see her homeland. And I'm very excited, Marion, that you're joining us. And so now I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yes, thank you, Richard. Thank you for joining us here for our tea chatting. Now, there is the first picture already. I just wanted to let you know we are, of course, not covering all of Germany, Austria, and Italy. The southern part of Germany, the western part of Austria, and the northern parts of Italy. That's where we will go. And Richard, you can go to the next slide. And this is where our wonderful tour, I'm so excited. This is where the tour is going to start. We all fly from Halifax to Munich. Munich is, everybody has heard about Munich, of course, the Oktoberfest, but there is much more about Munich than just that. And that is where we start our tour. Well, we arrive in the morning, and the first thing we do is something educational. We visit the concentration camp in Dachau. This is the slide. Thank you, Richard. It is initially it was built to hold political prisoners, and 1933 it was opened and liberated by the U.S. Army in 1945. So when I go to Dachau, it makes me very humble. I have to say, humble and very appreciative about the life I have now to live in freedom, which is a really wonderful thing. So, and from there, we go to the heart of Munich. We go to the Hofbrauhaus. I think there is only a few people in the world that have not heard about the Hofbrauhaus in the middle of Munich. It is exactly the way you see it in this picture here. And we are going to have lunch there. And lunch is included. And I hope you try one of these. You see the steins there with the beer? Exactly. You have to try this, and you have to try the white sausage and the pretzel or some other delicacies. Is that the right way to pronounce it? Delicacies, Richard?
Delicacies, yes. And
Okay.
I've certainly enjoyed some of what's on the table there on my visits to Germany, and the white sausages are delicious.
Oh my God, with the sweet mustard. Oh, it's a total must. And you see, there's wherever we go, there's different specialties, and I will let you know what you have to try. Now, after we had a very good lunch there, we get a guided tour of Munich. And there's so much to see, but of course, we don't have 2 weeks for Munich. So we do the Olympic grounds. We do the Central Square with the Marion place. And there is the Glockenspiel. The Glockenspiel is a very interesting thing. It is, I don't know what it, what year it was, but it doesn't matter. It reenacts like events from the 16th century, and you look up to the town hall and it's right there. So what else do we do? Oh, the Victorian market. This is, you know, a market, an everyday market where you can buy your veggies, you can sit, you can eat, you can drink, you can buy anything you want there every day, fresh. Oh, I think you can actually see part of the Victorian market on the right lower side of that picture. Everything is close by. We have to drive a little bit around, especially to show you the English garden. And I think, Richard, the English garden, yes, this is only a fraction what you see there. The English garden is one of the largest city gardens in the world. I think you can compare it to the one in New York, Central Park. It is huge, and you can meander along. And in the summertime, as you can see there, people are lying, sun tanning, or just working, you know, working ahead. Now you can have your office everywhere, not only at home, but also in the English garden. And,
and the good thing about this, Marion, is, I mean, you'll be doing your city tour, including all of the mixture of city buildings along with great spots like this. And
absolutely.
I guess the only other thing I wanted to mention is that first day when we arrived over, we're having the lunch. Of course, we always do something to fill in time until we can get into the hotel. And so that's why your city tour of Munich is on your second day. But that also could be adjusted based on when we actually do our flights.
Yes. So this is actually, yes. Is that, can I continue?
Yes, you can. Sure
okay,
can.
Wonderful. Okay, just to let you know about the size of the English garden, it's about 640 football pitches. That is the size of the English garden. You know, it's a landscape park, and created 1798 already for the public. So this is wonderful, and lots of beer gardens in it. Oh, and this is something I want to mention, you know, beer halls and beer gardens. This is part of the Bavarian culture. I mean, everywhere in Bavaria, you find beer halls and beer gardens. And in Munich, there is the 4 beer gardens in the English garden alone have at least each of them at 1,000 seats. You can imagine, like, this is amazing. One is on a lake, one is on a pagoda, and you see this is the Greek temple. You know, this is all themed in the English garden. Okay, so that is the first day. We check in and we try to get over our jet lag before the next day. After breakfast, we are on our way from Munich to Salzburg, but we stop at the Chiemsee Lake. Now the Chiemsee Lake is it's a very large lake. This picture there doesn't do it justice. The smaller one there, you see how big it is. It has 3 islands in it. And we go to the one you see on the right corner, to the Fraueninsel. When I translate it, it's Women's Island. And there is a nunnery on this island. And these nuns, I don't know what kind of, you know, it's a nunnery. It doesn't matter, you know, Benedictine or whatever. It's a nunnery. And they do, what do they do? I have it written down. Now you see I have a blank. Oh, lunch is included, which is much more important than, you know, what the nuns do. Lunch is included, and this is a very special lunch because it's whitefish, and this whitefish is caught in Chiemsee Lake. Do you know what a whitefish is? Have you ever had one, Richard?
No, yes, I have. When I've been over there, I've had some whitefish.
Yeah, it's a freshwater fish, and it's done in a very special way you only get at the Chiemsee Lake. So lunch is included, and we are hopefully going to have whitefish. Now, from Chiemsee Lake, we make our way to the Fraueninsel. Well, we take the ferry to the Fraueninsel, and in front there you see the nunnery. This is a funny word, nunnery. I've never heard that before. Like, this is the nunnery, and this island is not very big. We can have a little stroll around it. It's easy to walk a little bit there before we go back onto the shore and make our way further to Salzburg. And that's where we go, Augustinerbräu. Now, this is again, you know, the monks and the nuns, they had it with the beer. And you know why? Because there is the Lent time between, you know, until Easter, like 6 weeks. You are not allowed, when you a monk or a nun, you're not allowed to eat. So they thought, okay, we need something really nice to keep us alive, you know, without eating. So they brewed like a really strong beer. Okay, and so did the Augustinian monks. They did the same thing already in 1621. They started to brew the beer, and it is the Augustinerbräu is the largest beer hall in Austria. They also have a beer garden, and I hope, since we are going, you know, at a time like actually at this time in 2 years. It's end of September. The weather is just perfect. It's still warm. You can sit outside, and maybe we see a few leaves turning already. They have a beer garden as well. So let's, you know, hope we have nice weather when we are there. They serve beer from the wooden barrels, and of course in stone jugs or in the stains. Now, and look at this. This is Salzburg. Didn't you tell me, Richard, that Salzburg is one of your favorite towns?
Absolutely. I just loved walking around Salzburg, and of course the tie into the Sound of Music and all of that kind of stuff. And you'll have a whole different appreciation. In fact, I always recommend watching the musical before going, because you'll see so many of the sights. But I love the Lock Bridge, and of course, strudel is always good to have there. So it's one of my favorite stops.
Absolutely. Strudel or a schnitzel, you know, schnitzel. Oh, this is very, very good. And of course, it's the birthplace of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, you know, and we strolled through the town, and of course we have a city tour, and we go through the old town, the Altstadt, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1996. And it is the best preserved city center north of the Alps. And that's why.
And I think one of the most important things on all of these days is the backdrops. Like this backdrop is, you know, the cities are so beautiful, but I mean, the stunning backdrops and the drive through the countryside, the lush green, and it's just stunning.
You said that in such a nice way. I could not have said it better. The mountains, and you see, this is something that we follow the mountains follow us. I mean, there's mountains everywhere, Germany, Austria, and actually Salzburg. Okay, we crossed the border. We are already in Austria when we are in Salzburg. And Italy, there is always mountains, and they always look different. You know, like these mountains are a little bit more, they are not as jaggy as the Dolomites we are going to see in Italy, but they will be everywhere as a backdrop. You said that perfectly.
And there's the birthplace.
There is the birthplace, of course. It's now a museum, and you all know Mozart lived 1756 to 91. He wasn't very old when he died, but
and when you're here, there's great shopping all around. I mean, it's a very bustling spot, very safe and it's just the castles and up on the hill. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
It is very beautiful, and that's why you have time in the afternoon to discover Salzburg on your own, and dinner is on your own as well. And I can give you a few tips where to eat and what to eat. And then the next day, on the way from Salzburg to Berchtesgaden, and our first stop is a boat tour on King's Lake. You will not forget that. Now look at this. It is not a fjord, but it's kind of fjordish looking.
Well, it certainly feels like a fjord when you see it from here.
Have you been there, Richard?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and have you done the boat tour?
No, I have not. So this would be something new.
You the best about Lake Königssee. It is like it has an echo because of the sheer mountains. It has an echo up to 7 times. You can hear the echo. So, and when we do the boat tour, there is a trumpet player, okay? And that one plays the trumpet, and then it reverberates the echo up to 7 times. And he plays together with the echo. So it feels like you have a whole orchestra of trumpet player. I mean, it is something you won't forget. You will not forget. It's amazing. Oh, Eagle's Nest. Now I know I'm talking too much. Okay, Eagle's Nest is another highlight, even though it has to do with Adolf Hitler, but we take him aside, okay, and just go up there. We take a smaller bus, we meander along up the hill, then we go into a tunnel, take a lift up to the top of this mountain to the Eagle's Nest and have a beautiful view around, okay? And that's what we do. We go back and then we check into the hotel.
Well, it's always great when you're at a spot where you get that 365-degree view.
Oh my God.
Every angle is a different beauty. I've not done this either, so it is looking stunning. So.
Yeah, and this is something I haven't done myself, but I always wanted to do. So I'm very happy to get now the chance to actually do it and show it to you. Now, we stay in Berchtesgaden for 2 nights. And this is the little village there. Well, it's not a village, it's a population of 9,000. And you see, again, mountains everywhere. And it's like, again, it's like this, this cozy kind of feeling you get when you arrive in all those towns, even though they might be a little bigger, but they are so inviting. They draw you in. You just want to get out of the coach and walk and explore and look around. You know,
well, and the architecture. I mean,
yes.
You know, something here is ancient when it's 100 years old, and these buildings have been around for centuries.
Exactly. Exactly. And some of the houses, you know, they have murals like frescoes on the front walls of the houses, which is beautiful. You don't see things like that in North America, not anywhere. Maybe in Disney World, okay? Okay, that's the next day. In the morning, that's what we're gonna do. Berchtesgaden, the salt mines. We explore the salt mines. It's called the White Gold. And it has been mined since 1517. And we will go down to the very depth with all the gear on. You see the people there, they have the gear on because it's very wet down there. We see the salt cathedral, a subterranean salt lake, and much more. Very exciting. I've been there. I really enjoyed it. And afterwards, we need a schnapps. And we get that schnapps at Brussels Gebirgsenzian. This is exactly the right thing, you know, coming from, you know, the deep, and maybe it's a little, you know, like, fröstelig, then it's exactly the right thing to get. We will learn about how the schnapps is made. And of course, we get a tour and we sample a few of their fruit spirits and liqueurs. You can't go wrong doing this.
Sounds perfect to me.
Oh, absolutely. And then later on, we meander through the national park. Now look at this. My heart sings when I see this. This is so beautiful, and I'm so happy to share that with you. So we meander along and enjoy the viewpoints and vistas of the national park. And if you feel the energy is optional, you can either go to the hotel a little bit later in the afternoon, or you can do the Almbach Gorge. And I think, Richard, there is another slide for that. Yes, that's the Almbach Gorge. It is challenging, I have to say, and sometimes it goes uphill, but you know what? It's 2.8 kilometers.
And if you take your time,
yeah, take your time, but it is challenging, but it's worth the effort, you know, it is wonderful. Now, this is what you can do, or you explore a little bit Berchtesgaden on your own. Now, The next day, a Berchtesgaden to Innsbruck. Oh, Innsbruck is another beautiful city. It's a huge city, 300,000 people, but it has an old town, and it's renowned worldwide. Innsbruck is for its ski resorts and the hosting of winter sport competitions. And of course, we get a city tour, and I just go through it. I know, otherwise Richard will give me the looks. You know, we tour, we stop at the Wilton Basilica. I think that's the next one. Yes, the Wilton Basilica. Then we're going to see the famous golden roof. You know, again, this picture doesn't do it justice. You see the roof, the golden roof. It is so much more impressive when you stand right in front of it and have a look at this. And you can see, again, those old medieval looking like buildings, the architecture. It's the same in Innsbruck. We're still in Austria, okay? So, you know, to just have a walk around, and we jump on the, I say jump for a reason, exactly, because then we go to the Bergisel ski jump. Now, doesn't that look futuristic? And we go all the way up, look around to the fantastic view we have, again, 360 degrees. We have included cake and coffee. And then, if you're courageous enough, we all jump. Not. I mean, no. You know, I get a funny feeling in my belly if I think all those athletes, you know, going down, jumping off the ramp. Anyways, the afternoon, if you have the time, I can recommend Swarovski. Everybody knows Swarovski. Now, this is their world store, Swarovski Crystal World Store. Go there. Even if you not even think about buying, just go and have a look what they have. It is an amazing store. So that's a full day actually in Innsbruck. Let me see. Yes. Next day already, we're crossing borders again and going to Italy. Now, this is Merano, and Merano is so well known as a spa town because it's surrounded by vineyards and orchids. It's very idyllic, and famous is actually the Archt Wandelhalle along the river. Have you been there, Richard?
No, I have not.
It is beautiful. It is a really spa town, and a little bit, you know, like surrounded, the vineyards and orchids are surrounded by the high mountains, by the Dolomites. And the Dolomites are really jagged mountains. There's nothing soft about them, but the valley is very soft. So the contrast, you know, gives it a real amazing feeling about it. And something very interesting about this, even though we are in Italy, northern Italy, South Tyrol, the people living there in South Tyrol are all bilingual. You can compare that to New Brunswick. Okay, New Brunswick is officially bilingual, German and French. And here the people are officially bilingual, Italian and German. So it's about 50-50 native speakers. Okay, and then we take a cable car and go to one of the peaks, you know, and have another different wonderful view. That's what we do that day. And then we check into our hotel and have dinner together, which is included. Now the next day, oh my God, one highlight after the other. Now this day is going to be a really full day because we are leaving Merano, going south toward Lake Garda, Lago di Garda. It is the largest lake in Italy. It has a very specialty, the winds coming north to south and south to north at a certain time. And you can count on it at a certain time. The wind blows from north to south, and then it turns around from south to north. And that's why there is lots of surfers there. It's perfect for surfers. We don't do this. We go to, the highlights include to the Olive Oil Museum. So we learn how the olive oil was used to be made, and they compare it to how it's made today. And of course, we get some tastings like of the oils and the pastes they do. And then we go to Rocca Scaligero, which is a picturesque fortress in Sirmione. And this fortress is from the 13th century. This is another Disneyland, but it's not Disneyland, nor is it Disney World. This is the real thing. It is like so Italian. You feel like Simeone. This is Italy, this is what, when you think of Italy, this is what it is. Like, it's light, it's bright, it's airy, it's wonderful. And then from there, we need a drink. And Bardolino, it's a wonderful wine. Probably you've heard of Bardolino. It's sold all over the world. And we go to one of the local wine cellars. And while learning how they make their wine, like the techniques and so on, while we hear about this, we sip, we sip a selection of red and white wines. And you can have a sip or two more than absolutely necessary, because afterwards we get back on the coach. If you feel a little tipsy, that's all right, Richard.
Well, I was thinking there was another picture of drinking wine.
It is no picture from us being tipsy sitting on the coach.
Well, to me, this is a perfect way to end an afternoon before checking into the hotel.
It is the perfect way, and you can have a nap on the way back to Murano, and where you have dinner on your own. And then the next day, now again, Disney World, isn't it? I mean, it's getting better and better. We are crossing borders again, going from Italy back to Germany, to the Garmisch area. So we say goodbye to Italy, and first stop in the morning is Füssen, and there where we visit Neuschwanstein, Schloss Neuschwanstein, as it's called in German, or New Swanstone Castle in English. It's often referred to as the Disney Castle. And yes, again, this is the real thing, okay? It is, we get a tour, of course, we tour this castle. It is unbelievable. And look where it's the scenery. I mean, the scenery alone is so breathtaking. And then you get inside and you think, oh my God, this is what King Ludwig, he built it, okay? So King Ludwig of Bavaria, that was his imagination of a medieval fortress, a medieval castle. And of course, he had the means to get it built, and that's the result. So, and from there, we go to another breathtaking, attraction. It doesn't look much from the outside. It's the Pilgrimage Church of Ries. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And
look at the inside there.
The inside is overwhelming. And you know why they built it, Richard? There was a statue, a wooden sculpture of Jesus, okay? And then it is said that this wooden sculpture started to cry and tears running down, the wooden face. So, and then people started to come and pray. And then people said, yeah, those praying in front of it, got cured, miraculously cured, from the illnesses and so on. And then the church said, okay, we have to make sure this thing is protected, this sculpture of Jesus. And so this church was built around this sculpture. And they have done everything possible to make this supernatural visible inside of the church. And I tell you, it is overwhelming. There's lots of gold, lots of fresco on the ceilings, and oh my God, it's amazing. Now
back to the hotel.
Oh, and back to the hotel, and try to digest everything you've seen in the last 9 days. So that's why day 10, is a perfect day. It's a leisure day, okay? You have several options what you're going to do with this day. We have a wonderful hotel. We stay, I think, for 2 nights, isn't it? Let me check that.
Correct, I think.
Hmm?
I believe you're right.
Yes, so it is a great, they have a spa, they have a 70 square feet park, they have a Kneipp water treatment, they have different saunas. So if you say, you know what, and all in front of the Zugspitze. Zugspitze is the highest mountain in Germany, 11,000 feet, like almost 3,000 meters, okay? So, and it's right in front of you. Why don't you just sit and digest everything the last 9 days? Or exactly, thank you, Richard. If you feel a little bit more adventurous, you go all the way from the hotel, almost, you have to walk a little bit to the train station, you take a cogwheel train, and you go up to the Zugspitze shoulder, it's called Zugspitze shoulder, and then you take a cable car up to the very top. Now, here, I have to read this because this is, oh my word. It is a mountain of superlatives. You see 3 glaciers. You see the views of more than 400 alpine peaks in 4 different countries from a 360 panoramic terrace. Now, there's nothing more you could ask for, is it? Like, this is amazing.
Well, I mean, it's just so modern, yet so rustic in the background.
Yes, it is so, and you are on top of the world. I mean, this is 3,000 meters. I mean, if you're not as adventurous, and maybe if you're afraid of heights, you don't have to take the cable car. You can stay, on the shoulder, kind of, or you stop at Lake Eype, which was the one slide before that, which is a beautiful lake. You can have coffee or, just relax. So this is totally up to you. Or another optional thing you could do is 8 kilometers from our hotel. You can take a bus or the train or whatever, or taxi. You go to Garmisch. And this is typical. Those frescoes, you see them everywhere in Garmisch. And Garmisch is so well known and also loved, especially by the North Americans. They all want to go there to Garmisch, cobblestone streets, and that, again, this cozy feeling with all those houses, the artisan shops, and you have your coffee and just watch the people go by. Perfect day for, there's something for everybody. Oh, I'm getting all, excited. Now, day 11, Garmisch to Munich, we almost finished, with the tour. But before we go back to Munich, we stop at the Index Monastery. Now, another, monks brewing really good and sometimes very strong beer. And this is the case here. Actually, in Index, I have lived in Munich for a long time, like 20 some years before I came here. And I have been in Index often because it is like so nicely located. It sits on a hilltop and sandwiched by 2 large lakes. It's a beautiful location. They have a beautiful beer garden. We tour the church and the monastery, and then we have lunch included in their Bräustübe, which is wonderful. Or if the weather is nice, we can sit outside in the beer garden and have exactly right there and have one of their specialty dishes. And after lunch, we meander along, along the lake, Starnberger Lake, or, whatever I decide I'm going to do, what lake. We go back to Munich, check into the hotel, exactly. There you see the Olympic grounds there from 1972. Yeah, there were the Olympics in Munich. And you still have time in the afternoon to do some last minute shopping maybe, or last minute exploring, or, and here it comes, you can say, oh, there's Oktoberfest. because when we get back to Munich, there's the Oktoberfest. There it is. You can decide and say, okay, I walk through this village. I mean, this is a village. You can get lost on the Oktoberfest. And I'd say only in 2 weeks, 6 million visitors from all over the world. And you may be one of them. Okay, so it's lots of fun to have a stein of beer and have a brathandel and get a heart. You know, you can take that home. And then you sleep one more night. And then you start crying because you have to say, Auf Wiedersehen in German, Baba in Austrian, or Arrivederci in Italian. And you fly back home. But I hope you had a wonderful time then and bring back home lots of good memories of that wonderful tour. Now,
Well, Marion, sounds wonderful, and how exciting. And the fact that you're hosting it right from here in Nova Scotia, taking people back home. Now, if you're from away, we can certainly.
And I'm fluent. Yes, I'm fluent in German, so no problem with the languages. Okay, so this is maybe something.
I know you'll look after all the details. Yeah. You've been doing this for 12 or 13 years with us and here locally, and you do an amazing job. Your customers just love you. And so I know that to take people back home will feel very, very special for you. And for those that go, it makes a big difference when you have a local from here and local there with you, with family still in Germany. And so no, that'll be a great experience. And that's coming in 2023. In September of 2023, and Marion will look after all the details. And like I said, if you need any more information, the full itinerary is on our website along with pricing. We don't have the air price up yet because we can't do air until a little over a year out. Usually it has to be 300 and some days prior, but we'll be doing the air. And if you're coming from another part of the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada or anywhere in the world, we can try to coordinate your air arriving the same time as our group, or depending on our flight route, joining us en route or joining us over there. If you have friends or family you need to visit prior to doing the tour or after the tour. So we're always willing to make those adjustments for you. And let's see, we have something in the chat box here. So I'm going to have a look and see what we have as far as a question. You sold me on the joint up to Zugspitz. Does that make sense to you, Marion?
Fix? What fix?
Exactly. Is it possible to see this video again? I was late. Yes, absolutely. These are all recorded. And anyone that registered for today, if they weren't here, we automatically send the link out to you, thanking you for your visit. So you'll have the link to it, but they always give us a couple days, but they always are up on our website next to the tour to be able to link to and listen to as often as you want. Or if you look across the top of our website, you'll see a tab that says webinars. And so if you click on that, it'll show you every webinar we have, and you can access it there or at the tour site and see the great visuals. So we look forward to having you join us in 2023 on this great trip. So certainly in 2023, we have a great lineup of tours happening. In the spring, I'll be doing Ireland and Scotland, and Marion will be doing Germany, Austria, and Italy in the fall. So 2 great choices for you. And if you have any questions, please reach us at reservations@atlantictours.com or give Peggy a call. She's always happy to answer questions at any time. And 2 weeks from now, our session will be springtime in Ottawa and Quebec City. So anyone that wants to stay a little bit more within Canada, this will be happening on October the 6th. And like I said, we'll talk about our springtime tour in 2022. I said the last couple of years have been passing by so quickly. I get tongue-tied with what year we're in without travel myself. But Marion, amazing job. Thank you so much for being part of our Tea at 3 on Wednesdays. And we'll see you all the next session.